Hello and welcome back. My name is Terry and I am sharing a cheerful shaker card using the fantastic Brighter Days Are Ahead stamp. So let's get started. To start off, I want to make sure that I mention that the acetate sheet that I am using is heat resistant. You want to make sure that the acetate sheet that you're using is heat resistant, as I will be using a heat tool to melt embossing powder right on top of it. To prep my acetate sheet for heat embossing, I like to use a dryer sheet and rub that all over the acetate sheet. Somehow, some way, this is a great way to reduce the static that usually happens on anything plastic. I rub the dryer sheet on both sides of the acetate sheet. Now, using a stamping platform, I held the acetate sheet in place using magnets. Then, going in with Versamark ink, I am inking the Brighter Days Are Ahead stamp. Then I poured gold embossing powder over the inked area and heated that up with my heat tool. I know it looks a little crazy when you pour the gold embossing powder over the acetate sheet, but just tap it from the back of the stamped area and most of the embossing powder should fall off. I really think that this is one of my favorite things, when you're heating the embossing powder and seeing it melt during the process. I really enjoy it. So here's a close-up look at the final result. I am going to create a 5x7 card. So here is a white piece of cardstock that I trimmed down to 5x7, and I just wanted to show you how that looked on top. So to create the background, I am going to go in with my blending buddy and a few Distress Oxide inks. And first I am going in with the color Worn Lipstick, and I'm applying that at the top of the cardstock, going in a circular motion. Now going in with Fossilized Amber, I am blending that alongside the first shade. And what I like to do is I like to go back and forth between the colors. So after I'm done blending the yellow shade, I am going to go back in with my pink brush and blend some more of the pink in with the yellow. This is a great way to make sure that you have an even blend. Okay, so now going in with the third shade, I selected Salvage Patina, and I'm going to blend that towards the bottom of the cardstock. I really like using the combination of colors here because when you're blending the pink and the yellow together, you create an orange color in between. And when you blend the blue and the yellow together, you create a green color in between. So it kind of helps if you're limited to ink pads. Then I went in and spritz some clean water all over the card panel. Okay, so I'm going in with the A7 envelope builder. This builder set is great to make your own envelopes, but I'm going to use the frame dies in here to create a frame over my shaker. So here on the back of the packaging, you can see what type of envelope you can make. I'm going to go in with this set of dies here. It's attached and you can break it apart or use a wire clipper to clip it apart, but I'm going to leave it together because I want the sides of the frame to be even. So I'm going to go ahead and use my die cutting machine and run this out of thick white cardstock a few times. So here you can see the frames and the inside of the frames. I'm going to save the inside of the frames for a different project in the future. So using my liquid adhesive, I am going to layer 3 of the frames together. So before I adhere my 4th frame on top, I'm going to go in with the Rip-It Stick tape. And this is the perfect size for the frame width. And I'm going in and placing that around the frame. And then I will go ahead and press down my acetate sheet to adhere it on top of the Rip-It Stick tape. And after I press the acetate on top, I'm going to go back in with the Rip-It Stick tape and apply that on top of the acetate sheet, making sure that it's aligning on top of the frame underneath. Then I went ahead and removed the backing and pressed on the last frame, making sure that it lines up with the frames below. Then going in with my scissors, I trimmed off the excess. And this is how I create my shaker well. Here you see a little close-up of the layered frames. there's a bit of a gap between this. So what I'm going to do is place this on top of the blended background that we created with some shaker bits inside. You will see later on in this video. So with the recent Trinity stamps release, there's a bunch of cute shaker bits. I went ahead and selected a rainbow assorted of colors, and I'll go ahead and link everything down below if you're interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the shaker bits to my shaker well. So the shaker well is what we just created with the frames. So here I'm just going in and I'm just adding the shaker bits inside. Not too much at this point because I wanted to see the color of the background image from behind. But it's really up to you. You can add more, you can add less. It's really up to you how much shaker bits you want in there. Okay, so before I apply or press on the background blended card panel that we created onto the shaker well, I went ahead and added a bunch of glue dots to the blended panel. And now I'm just going in and placing some of the embellishment on top of the glue dots. I like doing this because if you're not shaking the shaker card, there is a little bit of embellishment just kind of lingering around the back. Okay, so here's another tip that I like to do. So when I'm placing or when I'm creating a shaker, I like to place the shaker wheel on top of a corner edge. So I'm just going in with my scoreboard and I'm placing that towards the inner corner. Then going in with my blended panel, I went ahead and moved that to the corner as well, so it matches up with the shaker well. And I went ahead and rubbed the edges to make sure that it adheres to the Rip It Stick tape. And here you can see the final results. I just love how all of the colorful embellishment shakes beneath the acetate sheets. And to finalize the card, I went ahead and adhered to a side folding card base in white. And that completes the card. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun, bright shaker card tutorial. And please don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to get notified of any future videos. Okay, until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.